Good evening. It is coming up to 4 minutes past 6. This is the Excess Manchester Football Social, the full-time Devils takeover. It happens every Thursday. We took all things Manchester United for an hour, and I tell you what, we've got the busiest show I've ever seen. A lot of things to get off our chest, a lot of things to talk about, and like always, we want you to get in touch. 0345 111 7625. And when you do, you can speak to the two legends in the studio with me, Gaz and Webby. Gentlemen, good evening.
Evening.
Hello, mate.
Joe.
The week started off with a 2-2 draw at Stoke, and then we moved on to an absolute thrashing in the Champions League. Positive week all round, or do you still have the shadows of Stoke in the background?
You know what? Even including Stoke, I'm actually quite happy.
Even including Stoke, you're quite happy.
I'm all right.
Webby?
Yeah, No, I was a bit upset coming home. We had enough chances to win the game, but after the international break, Stoke, I said on the Thursday show it'd be an hard game, so point to point. Wednesday was an easy game. You can only beat what's put in front of you. You have stronger tests in the Champions League this year, but we've done the job. 3 goals, clean sheet, and we move on to Sunday.
One thing that happened, obviously, on the game and the midweek, was Pogba was injured. Now, in that injury, it's been announced that he'll be out for 6 weeks, which is not going to be a good thing. So the question we ask United fans is, who do you think, or who would you like to replace Pogba in that squad?
You've got, well, let's have it right. We've got Herrera. Fellaini's done a great job. I actually read an article done by Graham Souness, which I don't really like the bloke, but he was spot on what he said. Playing against Mano and Fellaini, he makes it hard. He's horrible.
Yeah.
He's in your face. He plays it simple. I was saying to the lads before, they were the best non-United midfield player I've seen in a Premiership was Patrick Vieira. Won the ball, 5-yard passes. Now, don't get me wrong, when Pogba hits an 80-yard pass, it looks brilliant when it comes off, but he's shooting for 150 yards sometimes. You know, don't get me wrong, we will miss him. We will miss him, but I'm quite happy with Herrera and Fellaini that the 6 weeks won't be as bad as some of these United fans think it will be. I'm happy with the squad and what we've got. I
tell you what, though, a lot of people will be doing the lazy thing, really, and they'll be saying, you know, instant replacement for Pogba has to be Fellaini straight away, and they were just saying that just because they're both big lads.
Webby, you discussed Fellaini and Herrera. Which one out of them two would personally be your pick? You're making the lineup. Herrera or Fellaini? Which one is it?
Fellaini.
Fellaini
on current form. Obviously, Herrera's only started one game at Stoke. He got brought off. He had an average game for me. But Fellaini, you know what you're going to get with him.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of haters against Fellaini. You know, but the manager likes him. He would have been gone. The last 3 managers, you know, he's took a lot of stick off United fans. I've given some stick sometimes, but he come on there the other night and within 5 minutes he took control of the game. Now, it wasn't the greatest team against Basel, but you can only beat what's put in front of you.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you'll go with Fellaini. He'll start on Sunday against Everton. The manager likes him. He plays it simple. He's an awkward player. You won't put against him scoring a goal against his former club. And then he'll get his game time in these 6 games. And Carrick will come in possibly Wednesday night against Burton. So, Pogba's going to be a loss. But we've got enough there to last for 6 weeks.
I think I'm back. I'm back. You can hear me now. You can hear me now.
We missed him.
Right. Anyway, yeah, we're talking about replacements for Pogba. Yeah.
Yes,
right. The thing is that I like about Pogba is he can do everything brilliantly. He's like a proper all-round midfielder.
Yeah.
And I think that we do have players who can come in for him and who can bring the attributes that he brings, but just not all of them, just certain aspects of it, you know what I mean? So when you need a player to, you know, sit back and pick out the long balls, you play Michael Carrick, a player who's going to be patient with that sort of thing. You want a busy player, which we all know Pogba is at times as well, you put Ander Herrera there. And if you need that physicality, then you put Myron Fellaini there. So it's almost like we're going to miss quite a bit from him not being there in the midfield. However, in certain games, I think we have the squad to be able to deal with it. However, we've not seen much of Ander Herrera this season. We've not seen Carrick at all. I don't think I've seen Carrick at all so far this season. I know he's not started. So you know, we'll see how they do when they get on there. But yeah, Fellaini, mate, after that Champions League game, wow.
Did you really think, I mean, obviously he scored the goal and he did dominate. There's certain times it's the passing that really gets me, because Pogba can do the long passes that obviously.
Joe, don't get me wrong, it looks great. It looks great if you get a pass and you hit it 70, 50, 60, 70 yards. But let's just keep possession. Little 5-yard passes. They can't score if we've got the ball. And Fellaini's going to do that. So, yeah, I know what you're saying. Pogba will be a miss, but I'm sure that the three players who come in from one of the three players. Now, Fellaini's not going to play the 6 games what Pogba would miss. He's not going to play them all. Herrera could play 2 or 3.
Yep.
Carrick could come in, who will come in against Burton. They say 6 weeks, but he's a quick healer, Pogba. He might only be 3 or 4. Getting back for Liverpool away, I think that's what they're looking at. Liverpool away.
I think that's definitely what it'll be. But yeah, he's not exactly an unfit lad, is he? You know what I mean? I think he'll be back as quick as possible.
Did you Lukaku obviously on the score sheet again? Bang them in. There's no signs of stopping, is it? It's one of his first proper Champions League games for United. He didn't disappoint, did he?
No, you know, and don't get me wrong, you know, I think that a lot of it is to do with how well we're playing as a team as well. I think that Lukaku, if he was in the team that we were a couple of years ago, I think even he'd struggle, but he's doing his job absolutely perfectly. And I tell you what's different between Lukaku and Zlatan, and don't get me wrong, I'm not taking too much away from Zlatan because he did the job of a striker last season, scored loads of goals, but and especially towards the end of the season, he used to drop deep so much, and so much you'd see him pick up the ball in midfield, and you'd be like, "What are you doing there? You should be up there." Lukaku doesn't. He just stands there and waits for it. And when we're not on top of a game, which we have been for every game so far, people will be saying that, you know, he's lazy or something like that, but he's not. That is what a striker should do. He's always there.
You're spot on there, guys. If you look at the third goal from the Southampton Cup final, the winner by Ibra, he picks the ball up and he's walking. Before the ball comes over, and that's what it was toward the end of the season. Like, I can't wait for him to come back, you know, just for that extra option we've got. If we struggle, I don't think he'll start straight away, but what a player to have on your bench if you're 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go. You know, if you're that position, you see you're wheeling him on, whether he's 36 or 46, he's been there and done it, and he said he's come to finish his job, and that could be the thing what we need March, April, May.
Another thing that happened on the week was that David De Gea recorded his 100th clean sheet for Manchester United.
Ah, did he really?
He did.
I did not know that.
Up there at the top is Schmeichel with 180, and in number 2 is Alex Stepney, who we've got on the line now. Alex, good evening.
Good evening, Gary. How are you?
I'm very, very well, Alex. Thank you very much for giving your time to Excess Manchester and the Full-Time Devils. So, David De Gea, 100 clean sheets for Manchester United. I read one day that he said... I read recently he said, I want to be the best in the world. How much does he have to improve to be the best in the world, Alex? Or is he up there already?
Oh, I think he's up there already. I think if you look at it, it's very difficult in the way the different leagues are around Europe. I mean, the fact is, Buffon's been there. I mean, he's been a tremendous stalwart for the Italians, and I guess Manuel Neuer was the one who was probably voted the best in the world, but I've got a funny feeling if David carries on the way he's playing, he's got a great chance.
It's difficult to get a clean sheet, Stepney. What was it like when you were in the squad? Was it always on your mind, a clean sheet? Was that ever a thought, or was it just about getting the win?
That's every game. I mean, that's your forte to keep a clean sheet, because if that happens, you've got a chance of winning the game. I played over 500 games in 170 odd, I think I got, or something. So
175. Wow.
But in that time we had, I don't like saying it, United supporters around, but we had a relegation as well. So not a bad record, I suppose, when you think about it.
I mean, you won a few though, didn't you, Alex? You did all right.
I got through a few big games, yeah.
I was going to ask you, Alex, about David De Gea. He is sort of like the epitome, isn't he, of a modern goalkeeper. Like, just how different is it from back when you were playing?
It's entirely different. I remember, the way they train today. The goalkeeper. We never had goalkeeper coaches in my day, but the coaches today are more sort of European, and I've got to be very honest. They actually. How many times you see a goalkeeper go head first and try and get the ball at a player's feet? He doesn't do that anymore. They're told to stand big and let the ball hit them. That's the way the game's changed, and I don't know. I've got a funny feeling that health and safety's coming to this section of the game.
Alec, what about the gloves as well? Like, I'm intrigued about the gloves.
Gloves. Well, I mean, my hands are still solid, and have corns on them from when I played, because very rarely did we wear gloves, and the fact is, I often wonder what their hands are like now with them big gloves on. I mean, gloves don't catch the ball, your hands catch the ball.
I can vouch for Alex's hands as well, by the way. I've shook his hand before. Nearly took a limb off. It wasn't good.
Alex, when you did wear gloves, what were they made out of?
Well, it was very, very. They were cotton. Sometimes, I mean, a guy called a goalkeeper who played for Sheffield Wednesday in England was a guy called Ron Springer. He actually brought out a glove once, which was string, and it had like table tennis plastic pimples down the fingers. But the actual thing about them was that once they got wet, they just expanded. So really, you very rarely wore them.
Do you think you were better without the gloves then back in the day?
Oh, definitely, because with the size of my hands, you used to frighten the centre forwards.
Overall, then, Alex, how do you think United are doing? You had that 2-2 draw against Stoke. What did you make of that?
I was talking to some of the lads, and I said, do you know what? This is the best time to go to Stoke because it's not an easy place to go. I'd rather go there sort of early on in the season than go there towards the end of the season if you're in the title race or qualifying for Europe, because that's a horrible place to go to. And Stoke, they never changed, they never altered. They played the same game. Mark Hughes has done that for years for Stoke, and even when I played, it was a hard place to go to. It's just one of those horrible games that you want to get out of the way. And I thought we played well, and they did as well. I mean, we made a couple of mistakes at the back for the goals, but that happens. But no, I'm happy that game's out of the way, to be honest.
You know what? I'll say this about that game, Alex. I don't know whether you agree with me, but in fact, as a goalkeeper, I'm sure you'll definitely disagree with me. But as a fan, I think it's better to draw 2-2 than 0-0. Like last season, a lot of the times, and the season before, a lot of the times we were drawing. The problem was that we couldn't break the teams down. The problem at Stoke was that it's defensive sort of little individual errors.
Is the fact that this season, we go back to last season. That was Mourinho's first season. It wasn't his team. Okay, he brought players in. This season, it's his team, and what a change we've got from the way the systems of Van Gaal's system has been knocked out of them. There's no passing across the back and probably going for a goal and trying to hold on. We now play basically, I think, the best way we can as a United team, going for a goal and still going for another goal and still going for another goal.
Yeah. One of Stoke's goals was in the box from a corner. They scored. That was a second. Can you obviously the ref has got a very close eye on what's happening in the box in the modern game. No pushing and shoving. It can lead to a penalty. So all the defenders are a bit standoffish, so they say. What was it like? What is it like in the box when the corner's about to come in? Is do the strikers sort of tell you stuff? They try and get in your head a bit?
Yeah, they do. I mean, the one that mainly done that started the sort of standing the goalkeeper was Jack Charlton for Leeds. I mean, he was 6'5" and he used to stand in front of you. But you've got to get on with it. You've got to. I said, leave me alone. Don't have a defender in between us or anything like that. Leave him to me. I'll sort him out. You know what I mean? But like that goal against that Stoke got. I mean, from the corner. I mean, I always used to have two fullbacks on each post, which gave me enough room to sort of come off my line a bit.
Yeah, that's what different. So you're confident then, Alex? You're confident that the United are doing well? We've got things back onto winning ways on the weekend, and that we can go against Everton, maybe get a win? Well,
the thing is what wins your titles, what wins your trophies is a fact of your home form. Now was it 10 draws at home last year's season? I think something like that. Well, we can't afford to do that. You don't win anything when you do that. We've got to win our home games, and all right, you're not going to win them all, but you might. If you can draw one and win the rest, I think you're going to be in with a chance. Alex, thank you very much for giving us your time. An absolute legend. Thank you very much, Alex. What a man there, former goalkeeper. The second, but you never know. David De Gea could be after his clean sheet record. Could be moving to first. Schmeichel's got 180, I think. Yeah, 180. So 80 more clean sheets to go, and De Gea takes the record. Now, Webby, we've moved a feature forward especially for you because it's a big one, and we're going to be talking about it a lot during the show. Do you want to get something off your chest? Yeah, it's the lack of atmosphere at Old Trafford. There was
I put a tweet on. There was about 56 of us at the back of J stand. We never shut up singing. And I understand it. And then you've got the stewards coming up asking you to sit down. Now, a couple of years ago, there was a big song and dance when the singing section appeared. I don't go in it all the time. I like to go in there on European nights. And the stewards are coming up to you saying, sit down, you can't stand there. We try to get the atmosphere going. We're getting outsung by 800 bar kids. You know, and it was 3 years we've waited for this. 3 years we've been in the wilderness on a Thursday night. I couldn't sleep, Tuesday night. I kept on getting that Champions League song in my head and the rain pouring down, the kids with the flags and the crowd booming. It just wasn't there. And now, I understand there's obviously the action group trying to make it happen for United, but for me, I look at Celtic there, they're getting dumped 5-0 by PSG and the crowd and they're waving the flags and they're bouncing. Surely the club of our side can do something like that. Just ask 4,000 season ticket holders who aren't bothered about people stood in front of him. You know, just let's all get together, let's get in, let's make the stage standing, let's get the atmosphere back Old Trafford. Because I know lads who go to every away match but will not step foot inside Old Trafford. I can't do that. I wouldn't know what to do myself if United was at home and I wasn't in the ground, but it's really embarrassing, and Mourinho must see it, and people are coming and people are blaming it on tourists, and you know, and it's disheartening. It upsets United fans when you're getting comments about this, but we've got to make Old Trafford a fortress with a noise. We've seen it there. The best night I've ever been to, 83 Barcelona at home, second leg. The roof nearly come off. You know, everyone was singing. Does it take the Liverpool at home? Does it take Chelsea at home for people to sing? We've got to sing every game. It's only for 90 minutes. It's what we pay for. It's our enjoyment in life. So we've got to get behind the team. Let's give them all a song. You know, you don't have to sing every song if you don't want to, but let's get behind them vocally.
I think before we can fix anything like that, we have to sort of figure out why it's like that, don't we? And I know I'm generalising here massively. However, you know, the core support that are going to be, you know, singing all game and making the atmosphere what it is are working class lads. And working class lads can't really afford to go to football anymore. They've been priced out of the game. They've been priced out of the game and priced out of the stadium. So then it's natural that they're going to be replaced by someone who's maybe a little bit more laid back, or you know, as you mentioned, like a tourist, which I don't have a problem. You know, tourists coming to Old Trafford, it's great. But, you know, obviously, if they don't know the songs and stuff like that, it does affect the atmosphere.
It's not so much that, Gary. I know myself, the Manchester United Football Club would rather have 8 tourists and then 8 lads from Droylsden and Salford who'll go to the mega store and buy a load of kit.
Exactly.
Go and buy a burger, go and buy... I always remember, you know, it's hard because some of these lads now have drifted out of football and go and watch Salford or FC United or just stay in the pub. These are hardcore fans who should be in the ground.
Well, Webby, you're not the only one who thinks that. We've got Mark on the phone now, and Mark is from the J Stand. Mark, you okay?
Hiya, Mark.
Yeah, good, you?
Oh, very well, mate. You got in contact with us on Twitter to talk about what you are doing with a group of fans. Is that right?
Yeah, we're kind of almost starting again, really. So I'm in J along with the other 1,200 that kind of opted to go in there after the successful trials against Sociedad. I think it was Fulham the second one. And what we found is that it's like many other singing areas in clubs, and the singing section would have thankfully been dropped by most people. It's a bit of a cringeworthy name anyway, but it's just started to exist like any other stand, and it's become diluted with people that aren't doing what they said they were going to do when they got in there. So there are tourists, there are day trippers, there are people turning up who've paid well over the odds for the ticket, and they don't know that that's a singing area or a designated area to sing. But we are now faced with a pot of 1,200 people. Don't forget, 400 people refuse to leave Jay. So you've got to take them out of the equation. That whittles your numbers down to 1,200. And you've then got a dilution of 1,200 people. Now, for one reason or another, you could spend all night here talking about why they don't sing and who those people are in the seat that maybe the name isn't on the season ticket. And don't forget, United do encourage you to pass your ticket on to friends and family anyway. But we are left with a diluted version of what was already diluted. And so when the Ball game was a great example of probably the lads at the back, and I don't know if that's where Webby sits, but there was about 50, 60 lads at the back. There was from our central bit where usually bang at it. I went to work the next morning horse, and I put on a WhatsApp group because we've got a WhatsApp group for this thing we're doing. I said I feel got horse voice this morning for absolutely no reward because round the ground it was dreadful.
Mark, can you just interrupt me there, pal?
Yeah.
Obviously, I went in with a friend who's in J Stand. I give my ticket elsewhere. Couldn't wait to get into J Stand. Now, you must be speaking to officials at the club. Why are these stewards are coming up and asking us to sit down? And I actually heard one of them tell someone to shut up, and I'm thinking, he's there to sing. And obviously you don't call it the singing section, but for these stewards, we're not going to cause trouble. We're there for the passion of the club, to make it loud and proud, to get these nights back which we've missed for 3 years. Now, obviously these stewards can't be briefed to ask us to sit down.
No, absolutely not. And we are talking to the club, and we are aligned on certain things. When it comes to how to make an atmosphere or create noise naturally, we are poles apart. And I guess the point, you've got a point there about you're getting some grief off stewards in an area where we're left alone, or should be left alone, and you don't know about this group. And I guess the point of coming on partly is to maybe educate that we're almost giving it one last go, because after three or 4 years of of J Stan, nearly said it, didn't I? Of kind of not delivering on what it should. There's a group of 6 of us, and then a wider group on WhatsApp, and then on Facebook of now it's up to 500 now, trying to make a difference. And it is kind of one last go. So we've had various conversations with the club. You will have seen the Robson mural that's gone in there. That was great. There's 7 more players going in soon as well. So colour-wise, that's fine. But vocally, that's where we've hit a roadblock. We've got a view of how we can improve the atmosphere in that stand. And it is almost like starting again. If we've got 300 to 400 people, which don't forget is only 33% of 1,200. So of the 1,200 people that think they want to improve the atmosphere, only 33% either know about us or want to help. And we think we need to start again with a block of that number in the middle and then grow it organically. But the club are ironically scared of upsetting people by moving seats and stuff like that, even though they kicked 1,200 people out of J Stand in the first place.
Exactly.
So the damage was done then anyway. We could go on all day about why it should be an L stand or somewhere else, but we are where we are. So yes, we are talking to the club, Webby, and we are. It's a difficult relationship because United, and we did a podcast with Andy Mitten and United. We stand in the toll gate on before the Bar game, so there's a bit more information on there about what we've tried to do and the challenges we face. But it is very difficult. We are coming from such a long way back with supporter and club relationship at United. Just to get to speak to these people is almost an achievement in itself. There is the fans forum, the official route in, we know, but this is slightly different. This is something unique to one corner of Old Trafford. Their view of how to make an atmosphere, and these are 2 of the suggestions, and the club have been good in meeting us and all that kind of stuff, but this is more of an education piece for them. They thought a band would be a good idea.
Wow.
They thought a fan zone would be a good idea. Now, if you move 200 yards down United Road into the North Stand, you might find somebody with a megastore who would enjoy that. But then if you kind of look at the makeup of United fans in J and K, Stretford Tier 2 and Stretford N, they're lads who just want to sing and get behind the team, and that's what it's all about. How can we engage the likes of you, who maybe don't know enough about us, better than we have done already? We have emailed everyone in JV at the club, but obviously we're missing a trick. So what would you recommend we do?
What do you think of this thing they've got at Celtic, Mark? What's your opinion on that? Because I watched them the other night, 5-0 down, and there was bouncing and singing and waving flags, and you couldn't even hear the commentator. Now, I'm not expecting that, but do you know, to get like 4 obviously the size of J Stand, to get these lads in and ask these people, and the club should help get the people who want to come, stand up for 90 minutes, sing their hearts out, like you said, go into work the next day with no voice, and that'll spread throughout the ground. Because if you're in the Stretford and you can hear J Stand singing, you want to be a part of that. Well, let's bring it to the West Stand, let's bring it to the North Stand. We should make that ground so noisy, the other teams are so scared before they come out the tunnel and kick a ball.
Well, that's the point of being at home, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's 2 things there. Somebody said exactly the same thing in the pub, that if you create an atmosphere that, we have had brilliant atmospheres in the past like that. People want to come and they want to join in, and opposition players don't want to play there. And if they do play there, they feel harassed, etc., etc. So it's twofold in terms of improving. In terms of the Celtic thing, I need to check this. So if my facts are wrong, forgive me, but I was told today that took 5 years to get to this point. Now, that would suggest that they too might have had struggles with the club. But what do we think of it? Visually, it looks brilliant. Some people think mosaics are a bit twee and all that kind of stuff, and they might refer back to things United have done. But generally speaking, they just enjoy themselves for 90 minutes. You want to go to football to enjoy yourselves, and for a large part of the last 20 odd years, apart from what's been on the pitch, Old Trafford is very unenjoyable. So the people you reference, where it'd be about never going to Old Trafford, I know quite a few of those people as well, because it's rubbish. And I guess, so that's the second part of kind of, you know, what we were saying before about what we're trying to do. So that's kind of something we can control. We can control, you know, people meeting up at the pub and having a good laugh. But the aim is to try and get Jay to do what it should do, and then Jay to spread around everywhere else. And it's not an easy task. We are hampered by, you know, even just something as simple as having bigger flags in that end. The club have batted them back twice, and they're now going to the Premier League or wherever, the Football League, to check on sizes. Well, if you look at other grounds, they have massive flags in there, and this is the thing. It's very, very difficult to make progress, and I assume the people we're dealing with are probably under pressure to kind of do their own thing as well, or kind of have certain restrictions. So we are trying, and we're trying very hard, and the club are great in meeting us, but we've got a view of how things should improve, and at the moment, though us and the club are not aligned, but Mark, that we're talking to them means we've got a chance, I guess.
Mark, can I just bring in another fan called Nat? Nat, are you okay, Nat?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Gaz.
I thought it was Gaz.
Me, Joe, Nat.
I bet you thought it was Gaz.
Nat, talk to me about where you sit, and you have the problem about the atmosphere. You aren't happy with it, are you?
No, I'm at the Stretford end back row. I've been there 2 seasons now, and Basel was the worst I've ever seen it.
Wow.
I mean, I've sat all around the ground. I've sat in North Stand, I've sat in East Stand, I've sat in J. And Stretford lower and upper, as Basel, and you would think that we're playing Champions League, it's back at Old Trafford, it's going to be rocking, it's going to be buzzing. I was at the toll gate, I was part of that march. I was singing outside, my voice was hoarse, but people in the Stretford were looking around at me thinking, why is she singing?
Yeah.
And I think,
Nat, can I just say, I get that all the time, right? Where I sit in the Fergie stand, like on sort of the corner, really low down near the corner flag on the side of where the Stretford end is. And like occasionally, like say if a song starts and I hear it and I'll join in, I'll have people like looking round as if what's that maniac doing? What's he doing? Like and say if I'm singing a song like with, and not even something too aggressive, because I go with I go to the game with my granddad, so I don't want to sing like massive swear words all the time. But you know, a song with a cheeky little bit of swearing in it, and you'll have someone turning round like, why is he swearing? Why you can't swear in public? And it's like, it's a football game. Do you people not know what a football game is? Why are you coming to the ground? Stay at home.
I moved out of North Stand. That's why I moved out, because I've had them threatening to kick me out, telling me to sit down. I know people in the back of the East Stand, they try and get everyone to stand up, and then they end up picking out the pockets that are singing and kicking them out. And you would think, what do we want? Do we not want it to be fair? Do we not want it to have, you know, Fortress, Old Trafford? It's just crazy. I don't know what the club are doing. I don't know if they're telling the stewards to sort of kick these people out, or...
Is there anything you'd like to be seen done, Nat?
I just want the club to loosen it up with the stewards. I think that will help. I think if people aren't scared to stand up and sing, then they will stand up and sing. Obviously, in the Stretford, I'm at the back, so no one's going to tell me to sit down. But you know, if everyone was just singing all the time, and if everyone in the north could stand and sing when they wanted to, maybe that would help. And with the toll gate and the J stand, and we're all doing these marches, it's letting people see us, and you know, show that just before we go in, you know, it's rocking. So let's get it rocking outside and inside. You know,
I'll tell you as well, Nat. They do tell you to shut up as well, the stewards, quite often. I mean, Webby knows all about it, but where I sit, like I say, a lot of the time it's quite quiet. And I'll get up singing, and you will have a steward literally come up to you and say, sit down.
Nowhere inside that stadium should be quiet, whether it's South Stand, East Stand, Quadrant. You're there, you pay your hard-earned money. I don't say swear for 90 minutes, but we're there to get behind the team.
Nat, thank you very much for your call. Sorry about that, Webby. Mark, thank you very much for your call as well, mate.
Good work, Mark.
You're welcome.
Cheers, pal. Cheers, pal. This is the XS Manchester Football Social. Webby, that was an excellent get things off your chest, and we'll have more after this. Good evening. It's the XS Manchester Football Social, the full-time Devils takeover. My name is Joe. This is Gaz and Webby. Hiya. We're having a big debate. You can get in touch, 87711. Every week on the show, we like to trail ahead to who United play on the weekend, and not just do a sort of analysis of who the opposition could play, but actually speak to the mascot that I can't, every time it makes me laugh. Right, so what we're doing is we're going to interview Everton's mascot, Changi the Elephant, and here's what happened when I had a chat with him. Changi, are you there?
How you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, I'm good. Do you want to remain anonymous, Changi?
Best so, lads, you know what I mean? I've got a bit of a rep in Liverpool.
All right, okay. Changi, you have a big job. You are the mascot of Everton, and you will be there this weekend. What was your first experience like as the mascot? Were you nervous?
You know what? I was really, it's a big responsibility being the mascot on that, but it was back in the day of, David Moyes being the manager, and I remember Duncan Ferguson, he took a right shining to me because he'd been to Knowsley Safari Park the week before and got a real love for elephants.
How long do you see yourself in the role for? Is it a lifetime job, this?
I think at the moment with Koeman, I feel like my position's stable, at the club. Because beforehand, when Martinez was there, he wasn't, taking a look at me. So I'd like to think if Koeman's there for a while, I'll be there for a while.
What happens to the suit? Do you ever get to wear it out and about?
I do, I get to take it home, which is, I can have a laugh with it every now and then. I popped out in it once and only once, I went to Croxteth and I nearly got poached.
United against Everton, can you give me a quick prediction?
So I'm going to go 2-1 Everton, right? And I'm going to put Rooney down to get 2, and then that toilet brush they've got in midfield, grabbing one.
Oh, perfect. Right. Well, Changi the Elephant, thank you very much for your time. Lovely chat there with Changi the Elephant.
Better than him last week. When I seen him at Stoke Saturday, I couldn't believe it. My head went again.
He's a proper legend.
He's a proper legend. From one legend to the next. Andy Tate is on the line. Andy, how are you?
Andy.
Evening, hi guys, hi Webber, hi guys.
Hello, mate. How's it going?
All right, just finished work.
Just finished work. Did you hear the debate we were having before? It was about the atmosphere in Old Trafford. Do you have an opinion on that, Andy?
Yeah, Webby's hit the nail right on the head. We definitely need an atmosphere, and United need to look at the Bundesliga and the atmosphere, and they've got singing sections and flags like Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund behind their goals. They've got cracking atmospheres, but United just need to relax and start letting the fans sing, and they're driving the hard-working fan away, and that's the realisation of this modern football world, and it is upsetting.
Yeah, Andy, so where were you sat on the weekend? Oh no, he wasn't on the weekend. The weekend before Tuesday.
On Tuesday, I was in the quadrant with my friend, but my dad and my sister-in-law and my brother were in the Stretford, and that was like, oh yeah, the atmosphere from them said it was okay, but the best atmosphere I remember was 1992, Manchester United v Middlesbrough on the Old Stretford end. We sung Fergie's Red White Army, and I had a sore throat next day in work, and we got to Wembley with Ryan Giggs's extra time winner, and I'll never forget a game of that magnitude because it was absolutely cracking atmosphere that night.
Webby, tell us more about that Barcelona game you were at where you said it was the best atmosphere.
Yeah, and obviously we lost the first leg 2-0 in the new camp. They had Maradona, Schuster, half the Spanish team. What a night, Old Trafford. What a night. We've beaten 3-0. Robbo got a pair. Stapleton, 2 goals in 2 minutes. You can still hear Martin Tyler now. Unbelievable. Took the roof off Old Trafford. 58,000 people in the ground. Best atmosphere I've been in my life. Now, I'm not expecting that back because that'll never come. Everybody was stood up. I think it's different when you're standing up to sitting down. But Tuesday night was one of the poorest I've heard for the chat. And like a lot of Reds was coming at me on Twitter, they can't wait for the match tonight. And I was speaking to them and they were disappointed. Now, hopefully the Benfica game, the next Champions League game will be better. It's got to be better. We're Manchester United Football Club. We've got no divine right to win a game, but let's help the team to win the game by... Obviously, the players must be lift up if they can hurt us, but Tuesday night was very disappointed, very disappointed.
Yeah, so let's move on to the weekend now. We're all here, we can all have a chat about it. It's Everton. It's going to be a tough game. A lot of moments here because Rooney could be potentially starting for Everton. He might be that sort of jinx that could help Everton win the game. Lukaku, obviously, against his old club. Everton United have this sort of... Well, they have this sort of rivalry that isn't there, but there's a lot connecting the clubs with Fellaini and obviously when Moyes was in charge. We're kind of like a weird cousin, aren't they?
Do you know what? It's weird, isn't it? A bit like a weird cousin.
The second cousin you see at christenings.
No, you know what? Right, with Everton, like. I think the only reason that there's not really a more intense rivalry is that the fact that we can both get on with each other about how much we hate Liverpool.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that's the only reason that we don't hate each other proper.
Yeah, you know, you're right there. I think it'll be an hard game. Obviously, they're playing now, and I was hoping that he was playing in the deepest corners of Peru tonight. But they're only in Italy, and he kicked off now. Don't know the score. Hopefully, they'll get a couple of injuries. But it'll be an hard game because he's like Schneiderlin coming back to Old Trafford to prove a point.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Rooney's going to want to prove a point. You know, I seen it today. Will he get booed? Now, Rooney, for me, I was talking the other day, he's a top goal scorer. It's going to be... But I just wish he could wheel Bobby Charlton out for a few games and take a few penalties and get his record back. You know, you never know, but it will be an hard game. Last year's proved it. Was it 2 draws? It was, wasn't it?
Yep.
2-1 draws. Be an hard game, but I fancy us to beat him.
Yeah,
Thursday night football.
There's no way he'll get booed, Rooney. I think he'll get an applause from the United fans, and I think that's probably what he deserves. But you know, don't get me wrong, they're not going to be singing songs about him throughout the game either. He'll get a bit of an applause because at the end of the day, he's our record goal scorer, isn't he?
Andy, what do you think the score's going to be then the weekend? How do you see it playing out? Is it going to be a tough game for United?
I don't think so. Like I say, they've gone all that way. The Europa League tonight, and it might, fingers crossed, it might take it out of them all that travelling. So I'm going for 2-0 United, and hopefully Lukaku will bag a few, and we'll be sitting pretty on top of the league Sunday night.
Yeah, indeed. What do you think about the Pogba situation then? Who would you love to sit in that zone that Pogba's come from his injury?
I'm gutted about Pogba, man. Hopefully he'll be back for the Liverpool game. But Fellaini did a really good job on Tuesday. I would try him again Sunday, but rotate it every couple of games, maybe with Herrera and Carrick as well, and Mata. So just use the squad rotation and fill the vacancy until he's fit.
Do you agree with that, guys?
Yeah. I think I agree with what Andy said there about the squad rotation. I think we've got like I said before, we've got so many different midfielders who bring so many different sort of abilities that you've got to switch it up for different games. But against Everton, Jose will know a lot more than me. But I think coming off the back of that game on Tuesday, you'd be hard pressed not to play Marouane.
With what Andy said, then we've got so many games coming up. It's 2 a week now, so the squad's going to be used. You know. Carrick, like I say, Keller come in Wednesday, and then Herrera could play at Southampton and Fellaini. So there's plenty of games now. Nobody should need to worry about Andrew Herrera being upset about not playing. He will get his game time in the next 8 or 9 games, so I'm not worried. But like Andy said, I think the club are penciling that Liverpool away game back for Paul to return to the squad.
On the week, there was a perfect performance or a wonderful performance by Martial. He just didn't get the goal. I thought he did really well attacking the back. They just didn't know what to do with him. Every single time he got past him, they just started at the end, just foul him, chopping him down.
That's what they do.
And then Rashford comes on and bags a goal.
I know.
But the question is Rashford starting? You know, poor Martial was just thinking, he's given everything, he just didn't get the goal. And then Rashford comes on, bags a goal on his debut. He's trying, Martial, but I don't think he'll start against Everton.
He's playing well, Martial. He's playing a lot better than he did last year. He's just not getting the goals, you know. It's one of them, like Rooney was, when he scored, he probably won't score for 3 or 4 games, and then he'll score and score. And it breeds confidence for strikers. Now, for me, I think he will go with Martial. I've just got a thinking he'll go with Martial.
Do you think Rashford on the bench?
Rashford on the bench, yeah, possibly, yeah.
I think he'll save Martial for Burton. I think we'll probably play him against Burton, to be honest. I know you're laughing. I
thought you were doing a joke.
No, I'm not doing a joke. I reckon he'll rather go for Rashford in this one. Yeah, I think coming off the back of the good form that he's in, because that's the thing. It's like I can stand here, I can sit here and say that Martial has been great this season. However, I can also say that Rashford has probably been a little bit better. The thing is now, there's a name that I think, there's only one name I think you could maybe take out of the team. It's a player who I think struggled a lot on Tuesday, and I know exactly what you're going to say to me, Joe, as soon as I say his name, but Henrik Mkhitaryan.
No.
I thought he was really disappointing on Tuesday, really disappointing. There were so many chances for him to play a ball, and he's just not done it. He's tried to go around an extra man.
Take him out. Who'd you put in?
Well, I'd put Martial in instead. I'd do that definitely, but the thing is, people will say like, oh, he's got loads of assists so far this season, which is true. However, a few of them have come towards the end of the games that we've been dominating. You know what I mean? So I think I personally think that it's all a bit over the top what people are saying about him.
Yeah, Andy, thank you very much for your call. Can I get a quick score prediction, Andy?
2-0.
Quick score prediction 2-0. I said
2-0. Sorry, Andy, missed it. Thank you very much, Andy. That is Andy Tate. Webby, what have you got coming up? You got exciting stuff coming up?
I have, yeah. Friday the 29th of September, the night before Crystal Palace at home.
Get your diaries out.
We've got a do at Hotel Football. We've got Lee Sharp, Brian McClare, comedian. A great night. Only 200 tickets available. You need to get there if you're around town on a Friday night. Tickets are priced at £30 or £50. Food available. To listen to the stories of Lee Sharp, who's got a few stories. We've got him a couple of times. And McClare, what a player he was. What a snip. 650,000.
Where do you get tickets from, Webby?
You go to Hotel Football or contact me on Twitter, United_Webby, and we'll look after you.
Lovely. Quickly, can I just get a score prediction from you, Gaz?
I've not even thought about it.
3-1.
3-1. I'm going to go 1-0 United.
You can't.
You got 10 seconds.
You stole my score. 2-1. 2-1 United.
2-1. This has been the Excess Manchester Football Social, the full-time Devils takeover. Join us next week for more great chat.